the Titans. The division is ours. I don't care what Houston did yesterday. They're going to go get their Letterman jackets again. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-6 against the Titans since Pat McAfee came up here and did his wrestling announcement. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons since I was a senior in high school.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to another episode of Titans Fan Battle Podcast, brought to you by Fan Battle Sports Network. I'm your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and as always, my co-host,
Tyler, baby. It is football season. Finally, the NFL is back. The fall candle is lit. The fall decorations are up. Football decorations are up. The vibes are immaculate, baby. We are here. We made it. 7 long months, and we are here, Max. Can you believe it?
Oh, man, to be honest, I haven't been this excited for a football season in a long time as a Titans fan. It's been a while since I've been this pumped to start. Usually I'm like, all right, let's roll. It's week 1. Let's see what we got, but no, not this year. This year I'm like, let's go.
Yes, sir.
We're going to eat. All right. So, yeah, of course, we're playing the Saints week 1. That's what we're going to talk about. It's our pregame show. If y'all just tuning in, it's your first time on our Thursday show. It's what we do. We preview the game. By the way, if you're watching, watch on YouTube and throw down a subscribe and a like and a share and all that good stuff. Subscribe at least. Anyway, so overall look, the Saints look like they have pretty much revamped their offensive line. They revamped their defensive line to an extent. They let a couple starters go in the secondary and replaced them with rookies. They let both their kickers go and replaced them with rookies. I think that's kind of a questionable move. But we'll get to all that and some more with some matchups, individual matchups, and our final game predictions and stuff like that. But I figure we start with talking about their newest addition, quarterback Derek Carr.
Excuse me. Not a fan.
I actually am a fan of Derek Carr. I say what you want, man, but you have to admit, probably the best quarterback the Texans ever had was David Carr. In my opinion. I mean, maybe you could throw up Watson or whatever, but in my opinion, David Carr was it. He just never had the team around him to do anything with.
I don't necessarily keep up with the Houston Texans enough to be able to even argue that. So I'll give it to you. You got it. You got me on that one. So
that's just from watching back in the day, going against them twice a year, every year. I just kind of remember thinking to myself, that's their strongest weapon. They just don't have any, you can't block. You don't have wide receivers. You're just going to suck.
What's the long neck guy that they have now that's going to back up Stroud or replace Stroud when he ultimately is not good?
Man, why did you have to hit me with Texans stuff? I'm all
help us out, guys. Who's Mr. Long Neck for the Texans? I can't remember his name. He's David Mills. There it is.
David Mills. Yep. Thank you.
Neck.
Thank you, just a Titans fan. And by the way, if you don't follow that guy, you should go check him out on Facebook, man. He's a good dude. and he helps support us, so we support him. But yeah, David Mills. Not what I think is crazy. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say about it. Okay, I think they think that Derek Carr, excuse me, is going to be their savior. Not it, man. Not it. Sorry, just not it. I want him to succeed, but like Tyler just said, it's trash. I hate to admit it because I've been one of his biggest supporters since he's been in the league, but it looks like the jury's out on him. I mean, unless he just, completely balls out, which I guess I could be, wrong about, but I don't think so. Moving on.
I would like to point out, Cortland, you make a decent point, but the man last year had a top 3 receiver in the NFL, a guy who showed out with a really good quarterback. I mean, well, a great quarterback. Let's not disrespect Aaron Rodgers here, but if you're even average, you do well with Devontae Adams. You give Ryan Tannehill Devontae Adams, and Adams is getting 1,510 touchdowns at least. And he turned around, and the thing about Derek Carr, and I've been watching him his whole career, and I really liked him. I did like him, and the reason I stopped liking him is because I had him in fantasy one year, and he completely let me down. The thing about him is he's trash for 3.5 quarters, and if the game is close, all of a sudden he turns into Tom Brady on the last drive. He can do that, but he's the most inconsistent quarterback I've ever seen. It's maddening trying to watch him. And I like the Raiders. Okay, the Raiders aren't. I don't dislike the Raiders at all.
I was going to say,
they have a lot of former Bama players, and
if you look at the talent around him, yeah, you're speaking the truth, man. Wallen, Devontae Adams, Jacobs, these aren't bad players. These are good players. These are top 10 players at their position. So, I mean, your offense should be good. I mean, even their offensive line at the Raiders isn't that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not that bad. And I mean, to be honest, Saints is looking kind of the same. They're a toss-up. Yeah. They could be good. They could not be. I mean, so I don't know. I don't have much faith.
Which version of Michael Thomas he's getting? Is he getting old Michael Thomas that is washed up, or is he getting with Drew Brees Michael Thomas? And he's not going to be that good, but even if he can be 75% that good, then it's going to spell trouble for a lot of defenses that they play. And like we were talking about before the show, their schedule really is favorable. So the Saints, I think, can win 10 or 11 games this year just based off the fact that they play 6 games that should be automatic W.
Yeah.
Can't say automatic about the Falcons, but they should beat the Falcons this year, and they look okay. The Saints look better. I'll give them that. They look much better than they did last year.
I'll say this. To me, the quarterback story with the Saints is Taysom Hill. He's designated as a third quarterback, emergency third quarterback, which means by rule he can't play any other position. So that means if they designate him as a third quarterback, he can't do the running back plays that he does. He can't play a tight end like he does. He can't do any of that. So I think that takes a little bit of edge off their game. I actually think Taysom Hill kind of adds an extra element because, when he's got the ball and he's behind the line of scrimmage, he's not a good passer, but he's not a bad passer either. So, I mean, you have to kind of give him that credit. And I think it just like opened up their offense a little bit more and they could be a little bit more creative with it. But with him out, I think that gives us a leg up. Just wanted to toss that out there.
I don't really understand putting him as the QB3 with that because, I mean, if you run him at tight end and you get in a pinch with 2 quarterbacks, well, you can put him in at quarterback, right? I mean, there's nothing saying that you can't do that. So why do that? That makes no sense at all. See, Cortland, I agree, but I disagree because I feel like the Saints are in a much, much better position than Indy is or has been in the past since Andrew Luck retired.
I will say that at least Derek Carr is under 30 years old, right? I mean, he's
Is
still
he under 30?
isn't he?
I got to look it up.
Crap. I might have spoke too soon. Yeah, he has been in the league for what, 6 years now?
It's
He
been a
might be
while
over
now.
30. Crap. I don't know.
He is over 30. He's 32. So not bad.
Nope.
Not
Okay.
bad.
Nope. I have to kind of I'll say this. He does play better, or he has had better play than some of the quarterbacks that were in Indy. I believe they went through who was it? Who was that guy from the Eagles that was there? What was his name?
For the Saints?
Nah, he played for the Eagles, went in, won him a Super Bowl, and then he was the backup.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, they went Carson Wentz, and he didn't work out. And then they went to his backup, who
Nick
at
Foles.
Philly. Yeah, that's it. Nick Foles.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady's biggest enemy.
Yeah, and he was terrible too at Indy. So I mean, but both those players are not at the same caliber as Derek Carr.
Right.
But they didn't get paid near as much as Derek Carr either.
They gave him a big contract for
$150 million over
4 years, 150. That's a hefty fee. That's somebody you believe in. So
I was gonna say that's top 10 money.
Yeah, it is. And so if he doesn't give them top 10 play, but he has the weapons, he has the running game. If their offensive line can hold up, they should have a pretty decent year. Now, do I hope they are absolutely horrible Sunday? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not a Saints hater. I like the Falcons more than I do the Saints. So, and I'm going to be pulling for the Panthers more than I do anybody in the NFC South from now until Bryce Young gets out of there, hopefully, before he dies from not having an offensive line in front of him. But I would like to see the Saints do well. I don't hate the Saints at all. Mark Ingram was there for a long time, all-time favorite college running back. So, and Derrick Henry was my second favorite. Thankfully, we got him. But I would love to see him succeed. Olave at wide receiver, Michael Thomas at wide receiver. Then you got Jimmy Graham back, who's had some issues, weird issue. Did you see that a couple weeks ago, or it was sometime during training camp where he got arrested because he blacked out or something like that? It was somewhere along those lines. Weird stuff out of Jimmy
I was going to say, yeah, man, to be honest, as the play from Jimmy Graham that they've got, let's say last season, just look at the play that they got from Jimmy Graham and the production that they got out of Jimmy Graham last season. Why would you re-sign him?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it. He's it's not like he's great at blocking and a great receiving tight end. No, he's just a receiver. He's just a big receiver. I mean, he can kind of push people around because he's so huge, but I mean, he's not a great blocker. He doesn't engage and hold his block and all. I mean, the kind of things that you want to see in a developing run play. But I digress.
Prime Jimmy Graham, I would take about over almost any tight end in the NFL. He would be top 5, maybe number 5 in the NFL right now.
Oh yeah, in his prime.
Jimmy
I don't know
Graham.
though. I mean,
old Jimmy Graham, not so much. He really hasn't produced much at all in the past. I know at least past 2 years. So
that's like saying prime Gronkowski. Prime Gronkowski was a freaking beast, but Gronkowski now is. I mean, he's still. Meh.
Well, Gronk with the Bucks though, he did have some flash plays. So I guess that's what they're hoping for, is that he can just that Jimmy can come in and give them that type of just one good play every now and then type of guy.
Hey, maybe he can. And if that's all they're looking for that kind of money, cool. Anyway, the running back situation is one I wanted to talk about because their starting running back, Alvin Kamara, former UT guy, so I'm pretty familiar with him. Very good running back.
Started at Bama.
He did start at Bama and transferred.
With Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's why he transferred. I mean, I don't blame him, to be honest. He wasn't going to get playing time, or maybe a smidge. But anyway, my point is, Alvin Kamara, hugely talented dude. What are you doing, man? Serving a 2-game suspension for a really stupid move.
I don't even. What did he get suspended for? I don't know. I
Uh,
still don't know.
He stomped a dude's face in Las Vegas. They
Oh,
put
okay.
pictures up all on Twitter. Dude looked like he was the Walking Dead.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah. Him and his boys basically beat a man half to death and left him in an elevator.
All right.
And he only got 2-game suspension, which I find hilarious because if that had been a girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But you can beat a man
horrible.
half to death. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't like violence, period.
Right.
I find it, that type of treatment is sexist to me. And I
Yeah.
just think it's stupid. But I
We have to
don't
find a-
condone violence at all unless it's on a football field. That's
Yeah.
cool. But my point is Kamara's out. The rookie got hurt. I don't think he's going to play either.
They'd have a very, very solid backup, though. Well, I say backup. He's going to play a lot, even with Kamara and the line.
I was going to say the third running back on their team actually is the very, he was a starter last year. So
yeah,
he produced 4.1
again,
yard per game, I believe, or yard per carry, I believe.
He led the NFL in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, Jamal Williams. And Jamal Williams, all-time guy, first of all, one of the boys, 100%, like all-time locker room presence. Love Jamal Williams. I was really kind of hoping the Titans would get him for cheap, but I also understand not wanting to overpay for a guy who just scored 18 touchdowns for the Lions, who also had a really good rushing attack. But yes, I'm a huge fan also of Jamal Williams. I hope he does well after week 1. I hope he does nothing Sunday, like I said, but Jamal Williams is a great dude. At least he didn't enter a casino.
And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's my point right there. You can beat a man half to death and leave him to die, and you get a 2-game suspension. But don't you dare bet on your team's property, because that'll get you cut out for 6 games.
The most ridiculous part of all this newfound gambling suspensions that we got going on in the NFL right now, the most absurd thing is that the NFL is partners with DraftKings and they're promoting it like crazy. Every team is promoting this, like DraftKings this, DraftKings that. And it's like, dude, how are you going to promote the thing that you are suspending most players for? All these players are getting suspended for not even betting on themselves or betting on their own team or betting against their team, which I could understand getting a year for that, or even getting kicked out of the league.
He didn't even bet on in the NFL. He bet, I believe it was on a basketball game.
Right. Yeah, which makes no sense. So how do you have an anti-gambling policy as the NFL, but you're partners with DraftKings and you're promoting all this gambling going on? So I don't understand that. I have a really big problem with that because if you're going to suspend guys for gambling, and especially if it's not even on themselves or their teams or anything close to the organization, leave it alone. Who cares? They're people. We always preach this. We preach this over and over again. These are people we're talking about. They're living lives just like us. We gamble. That's what we do. We're NFL fans. It's football season. Put some money down on the game and have a good time. If it's the off season, let these guys gamble on something. If you're hurt at home, you're not doing anything, it's boring just sitting there, let them gamble on a Lions game. Who cares? I don't understand.
Well, if they're at home, it's okay. It's just if you're on the team's property, apparently, which that's the part of the rule that I don't really get. But the whole thing is that they did a survey recently. I mean, we did a show about this when Flame was the co-host, but 70% of the NFL players don't understand the policy, basically, is what a survey said. And to be honest, I read the rules myself. I'm a pretty intelligent guy, graduated college with an engineering degree. Don't really, I mean, the verbiage is so difficult to read. It's like reading a radio manual. only in a slightly different language. I don't know. It's like bad translation or something. I'm not sure. Go read the rule yourself. It's amazingly confusing. And it's not so much I guess it's just a lot too. There's like 2 pages, I think, worth of crap on gambling and
Right.
how to gamble if you're an NFL player legally with the NFL.
And Cortland makes a point here, and if you want to pull that the rules are rules comment up, I get it. All right, rules are rules. There's a handbook for a reason. The rules are put in place for a reason. I'm not complaining that they are suspending them. I'm complaining that they're suspending guys and then turning around and promoting gambling through the NFL. If you put it on your team, I can understand because that's interfering with the actual product of the NFL. And especially if you're betting against your team, you should be banned from the NFL and never allowed to play again. I get
agreed.
that. I
But
get that.
the second part of his sentence there, where he says the league is culpable though because they don't make the rules clear cut, and now they're dropping the gavel, which is exactly correct.
Yeah, which is to your point exactly. Yes, and I get. Yes, I agree with that completely. And that's the biggest thing to me though is you can't be so hypocritical with it. And I've seen a few people with this take on Twitter, and I saw it. I heard it on a podcast. I think it was around the NFL. One of the podcasts I listened to during the day, and it was like DraftKings, official sports book or official whatever
Official
gambling
sponsor
partner
of the
of the
NFL.
NFL. And
Yep.
it's like you're a partner with the NFL, and like guys can't get on here and gamble. What do you mean? Like these guys are part of. Okay,
You think they get a discount?
Yeah, like that's exactly. I don't agree with it whatsoever. I think I think Pete Rose should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame too. While we're on this, MLB make that right. That's BS.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I watched a documentary on that the other day and was just like shaking my head the whole time. I mean, because I feel the way I feel about Pete Rose. I don't even like baseball anymore. Haven't since I was a little kid, but I still think that's ridiculous. But
it is.
Just to go over this real quick, basically technology has come to the point to where if you're on a Wi-Fi network, they can view what you view. You have to agree, when you go on the public Wi-Fi channel, and then they can basically view it by your IP address, what you do, where you go on the internet, what you say, everything, basically everything you do on your phone, they can see if you're on their Wi-Fi. That's just a technology thing that we've had for a long time. Titans are just utilizing it or the NFL, excuse me, are utilizing it to figure out if players are using it on property or not. I don't know why. I guess don't gamble at work. I don't know. I think that's stupid because, to be honest, I do things at work you're probably not supposed to. But anyway, let's move on to something else. Let's talk. Let's talk about matchups, individual matchups that we're excited about. Is there any individual matchups that you're excited about, Tyler?
Jeffrey Simmons versus the offensive line is the individual matchup I'm looking at. And I want to see Jeff Simmons dominate every single lineman they have. Really, I really want to see this line matchup on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a great test for our offensive line. And it's going to be a great, not really a test as much of just a show off, I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but just time for the defensive line to absolutely show off and just tell us that we weren't overexcited. Like I'm pretty sure we are, because it's what we do as Titans fans. We have one good thing and then we overhype it and then we're disappointed most every year. So please, defensive line, dominate every snap and just don't let them get anything. And also I've got a prop where Derek Carr does not get 250 passing yards. So if we could please keep him under that, that would be nice.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty good one right there. Marshawn Lattimore versus D-Hop. Marshawn Lattimore is probably going to line up against D-Hop no matter where he lines up, or at least that's how I'd play him on defense. And I think, D-Hop's done it before. I don't think there's I don't think there's much there. I think D-Hop's going to win that battle. Since we're talking about wide receivers, though, I'm interested in watching the other side. I'm interested in seeing what Michael Thomas and Chris Olave look like against Christian Fulton and Sean
Yes.
Murphy Bunting. There are too many long names on our team. Anyway, I want to see how our secondary holds up against these wide receivers, because these wide receivers are skilled. They are good wide receivers. Chris Olave had a breakout season last year. I had him on my fantasy squad, so I know exactly how productive he was. Michael Thomas speaks for itself. I believe that I just want to see how they hold up. I think we're going to do good. I think we're going to actually shock people on how good we are on defense. I think we're going to shock people, period. I think, well, I'll get to the final predictions later, but that is my big key matchup. Obviously, the D-line and O-line matchup for me are the big match. Our D-line versus their O-line. Their O-line, I think, was ranked 24th overall. The run defense was ranked, I think, 9th overall. And their pass defense was ranked, I think, 28th. So I expect the defense just to eat. And we know what Derek Carr does under pressure. So I expect an interception or two, at least 1 or 2 turnovers. I'll say it that way. So I honestly, my big one is going to be the secondary for the defense, just because I think everywhere else we're pretty much going to dominate. Our run defense is amazing, so I don't really worry about that. Our rush defense, I think, is going to be amazing this year. And so secondary comes to my mind. Any thoughts on that, Tyler?
I'm trying to find the guy's name. Cam Jordan. That's who I was trying to think of. Cam Jordan versus Skoronski. That's the matchup. To hone it in a little bit from the broad spectrum that I gave earlier. Cam Jordan and Skoronski going head to head will be nice to see. I'm not sure how much we'll get it. We don't
I was
know
going to say, Jordan is a defensive end, and I think he would be going up against Dillard probably.
He lines up inside some too. Same kind of like Jeff and kind of like Danico Archer.
I was going to say, they do move him around.
Yeah. So Dillard, I'm not really looking forward to anything to see. I mean, I'm looking forward to see if he does good. I'm just not expecting very much.
Okay.
That's I hope I'm wrong. And I tend to be wrong about the Titans. I'm telling you, man, every week of the NFL season since I've been a child, I can be right about every other NFL team, but I'm always wrong about the Titans almost every time. Yeah, Cam Jordan is a lot like Jeff Simmons. So they even lift Jeff at defensive end, and he's just not a big defensive end. Like, they're not really a defensive end type of player to me. More like a traditional defensive tackle in a 4-3, a 3-4. He's a 3-4 defensive end, but your outside linebackers are going to really act as your defensive ends in that defense. So
there's another good one.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see Lattimore on Traylon Burks too. I think Lattimore is going to have to switch off on him some.
I was going to say, though, when Traylon and D-Hop's out there, who do you think they're going to line up Lattimore on? They're going to line up Lattimore on Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think. I would. If I was the defensive
until
coordinator.
Traylon gets about 6 catches in the first half, and then like, all right, man, we got to do
now
something.
We're going to switch off, and then all of a sudden D-Hop starts getting
now D-Hop's time to eat. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's what I'm interested in seeing, is how versatile our offense can be.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna shock some people. I think they're gonna look at us and be like, "Oh wow," but I think most people are gonna be like, "Oh, week 1 fluke." So that's cool too. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what they do for us, man. That's what they do to us. We can't win with the national media. It doesn't matter. We could start out 8-0 and it's the worst 8-0 team of all time. Are the Titans the worst undefeated team to ever play football? We can win the Super Bowl.
That was literally the headline.
I guarantee you, if we win the Super Bowl, and not just this year, I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Everybody calm down. But anytime the Titans will ever win the Super Bowl, the headline the next day will be, "Are the Titans the worst Super Bowl winner of all time?" And then 2 days later, nothing will be talked about of it at all. Will be going on. Is Mahomes going to win his 17th Super Bowl next year? Like,
that was the exact headline when we took the AFC first seed.
Yeah, number 1 seed 2 years ago. Yes,
Yep.
yes. Are the
They
Titans
were like,
the worst
are the
one
Titans
seed?
the worst first AFC? And it was like, are you serious?
And then we lose to the Bengals and don't help our case at all, Max.
I was going to say,
God, like,
let's not talk about that.
still bothers me. Still
I know.
bothers me to this day. It will always bother me because I'm arguing for 2 weeks straight. Like, man, y'all crazy. Like, we earned the number 1 seed. We're like, we're gonna win. We're fine. Like, they're gonna come into Nashville. They're not taking over Nashville. I argue with Bengals fans for 3.5 straight hours at the playoff game, and then the Bengals win in Nashville, and we're the worst 1 seed to ever play football. Disappointment, and then to rub the salt in, you bring up the game and the highlights a week ago.
Look, I was just talking about the defense, man. Why everybody want to bring up the actual game? I was talking about one little aspect of the game, and everybody want to bring up how crappy it ended up. And it was like, man, that was not my point. My point was the defense. Oh, man. And then y'all want to make me remember all that crap. I mean,
yeah,
I guess I made y'all remember, and I apologize about
that.
I apologize. I was trying to make a different point. Maybe I could have made it better with like a highlight video or something like that instead of just that one clip.
It hurt, man. It's still a fresh scar. It's scarring a little bit, but it still kind of hurts. And that's what that is. We need a playoff win. We get a playoff win, I don't care about that game anymore. We haven't been good since we lost that game, and I know it's only been 1 year, but since then we've traded AJ. J-Rob's gone. We've got a 55% new roster this year, or 45% new roster this year. People aren't giving us the benefit of the doubt. They're doubting the boys heavily. So Tannehill did indeed cost us that game. I had a lot of choice words for Tannehill after that game. I was mad, and I mean legitimately mad to like don't call me for like 2 weeks after that game. And I was at the stadium. On the way out, everybody's just screaming and cussing and fighting, and it was rough time, man. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, it was upsetting, and I'm sorry that we're talking about it right now. Let's stop talking about it.
Yeah, it's
talk about the future.
Season.
Yeah, and how great Tannehill's going to be this year, even in the playoffs, because I'm an optimist.
Right.
So, the Saints thought it would be a good idea to get rid of their, even though they did have a really great rookie kicker, and they had a honest battle going on. Apparently, it was honest because they let their veteran go, Will Lutz. They let him go, and they also let the punter go, and replaced him with a rookie. Now, look, everybody was rookies once. You know, Ryan Stonehouse was a rookie last year, and he was best punter in the league, if you ask me. Well, second best, I guess, to Colquitt. But anyway,
for who?
Nothing. I didn't say no. I didn't say nothing, dude.
Come on back with that.
I said that he was the best punter in the league. That was it.
Record holder.
That's where I left it. Was he was the best punter in the league
as
a rookie.
Snub of the century.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. Yeah, I can't believe he didn't make it to the Pro Bowl. That was so stupid. But anyway, back to my point. I think it's crazy that you get rid of both your special teams specialists and rely on rookies. And in the first game is when you're going to get the most, I think, what is the word? Benefit as an opponent from that. Because to be honest, let's be honest, first real game you're ever in is the one that you're the most nervous about. Oh, crap, it's real now. I'm really playing a real game. It's not preseason anymore, you know? So the real nerves set in. And if you have to kick that game-winning field goal from 50 yards out, it might not be as accurate as you were in the preseason. That's all I'm saying.
Either that or you make it and you begin your illustrious career as a kicker in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you make that one first, nothing's going to bother you.
Yeah.
But yes, the punter is a 30-year-old Aussie who used to own a tattoo shop. I believe in Indonesia is what it. Yeah, he he went from Western Australia to a tattoo shop in Indonesia, then to stop in Miami, and now to the NFL as a 30-year-old rookie. What a life!
Hey
What a
man,
guy! I'm supporting
yeah.
him. Shout out to the specialist. I love it. And he's got a rocking mullet too. You do it, dude. You got it.
I know, dude. I know, man. Like, I don't know if did you see a lot of Trey Wolf in the
I saw
preseason
him
and
in
camp
pads.
and stuff
I
like
didn't really
that?
see him. I saw him
You
in
never
a
saw
helmet
his
and band.
hair?
Ah,
Oh, dude had he had like the wide mohawk going, like he had it like from here down shaved, but he had like really long hair, so it
oh
really
Jesus.
it was rocking, dude. Yeah, I was like, nice. Well, darn, I almost said something bad. I'm not gonna say that. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically our key matchups for the game, or my key matchups. Do you have any other ones that you want to talk about?
Oh well, I guess we could go. We could go punter for punter. Um,
Oh,
let's
come
see,
on,
what's his
man.
name? What's his
That's not
name?
a
Lou Headley. Lou Headley versus Ryan Stonehouse. Uh,
Stonehouse is gonna
let's
just
see. Let's see. I mean, well, it's kind of like saying Derrick Henry versus Jamal Williams, who's the better running back, right? I
yeah,
mean, we're gonna
that's a
see who has the more production Sunday and for the rest of the year. Let's
that's a
see who the
silly
better punter
conversation.
is. First of all, our punter's mullet is better than your punter's mullet. I don't even know. Well, I don't know if Stonehouse actually has a mullet. He just
I
has
was gonna
really long
say,
hair,
I'm
and he kind of
pretty
looks
sure.
like
Yeah,
Morgan Wallen. I'm not sure what the trend is with all the punters in the NFL all of a sudden looking like Morgan Wallen, but they
that's like
do.
Morgan
It's
Wallen.
weird, man. But every time I can't even look at a picture of Stonehouse because I'm like, man, he looks like he's about to bust out a country tune at any point.
He fits
He's in
right
the
in,
perfect
man.
city, the perfect team. Ryan Stonehouse has to be a Titan for life. If we let him go, I'm going to be so upset.
Ryan Stonehouse actually, kind of for me, epitomizes what the Titans are. I
Yes,
mean, we're underdogs. You don't think's gonna make it. You know what I mean? Make it. Not only do we make it, but we make it big, and then
yes,
we get overlooked.
yes. Yep,
So I mean, he basically epitomizes the Titans for me. I mean,
yep.
he is a Titan,
And
just like
that is why. Well, Brett Kern too. Brett
I,
Kern's the same way. So like that's why I started with the Brett Kern Stan account, and now I'm the Ryan Stonehouse Stan account because it's not that I'm just like an actual Stan, like I'm stalking these guys or something. It's just I have love for the punters, man. I understand. We don't punters do not get enough credit for what they
yes,
do.
yes,
If you as an offense go 3-and-out at the 20-yard line, and you have a punter who's going to boom it and put the other team whenever they come on the field at the 20 or 25-yard line, that cannot be overstated how much of a difference that makes. You're making a team get 3 more first downs than they would with a regular punter. And a guy like Stonehouse, and then with Kern's going to put you inside the 5-yard line like every time. So Kern is, if we could put them together, you got literally the god punter. That my fiance down there in the YouTube comments, dude, I do not stalk NFL players. If I did, I would have a lot more valuable items from getting signatures and things of that nature. Not that type of grown man. I'm a big Titans fan, not
I'm
a
an online stalker.
yeah, no, not an online star. I don't even think I follow Ryan Stonehouse actually, which is the
Are you
funniest part.
what?
I
Are
don't
you
think I do.
serious,
I'm not even sure that I do.
bro?
Uh,
What?
he's not a I
What?
mean,
What?
I don't
I'm
know. I don't know, man.
I'm
It's a thing. It's
I'm
a thing.
thrown by that.
It's a
I don't know.
profile. I mean, I'm not really like, yeah, it's not that
So,
type of
so you're not really a Stonehouse fan. You
I'm a
just.
Stonehouse fan.
Well, then how do you
It's
not
the
follow the
Stan
guy?
account is a name that I literally was just like, ha, there's no punter Stan account. So
I
there we
mean,
are. That yeah,
clever
thank
as
you.
it is, but to be honest, both the punters that you chose are amazing punters.
They are.
They're going to be like legendary. Both
Exactly.
of them.
And
I
we
think
really needed them.
Kern's Hall of Fame punter. That's
Yeah.
insane, but I honestly believe he's going to be in the Hall of Fame as punter one day. And
Titans are one of the
Stonehouse, if he
only
keeps it up, man.
franchises. One of the only franchises in the NFL where you're going to go on game day and you're going to see a punter jersey or two on game day. If you go to Nashville, every time I've ever been to Nashville, I either see a Kern jersey or I see a Stonehouse jersey now. And name another franchise who's actually going to put some merit to their punters. We love it. We love it. Our kickers suck. Our kickers are terrible.
Although we do want to see a Stonehouse throwback jersey.
Yes. What is the deal? You cannot even make a customized Stonehouse jersey because it doesn't fit on the name. Titans.
Exactly.
Come on. What's
not
going
fair,
on,
you guys? Man? Come on. Get with the program with us. Stonehouse jersey out there.
Ryan Stonehouse Oilers jerseys. Please. Come on, man.
All right. Final prediction time.
Oh man.
Final prediction. What's the game score? End score.
I don't do this. This, Max. You know this.
What do you mean you don't do this?
Because I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong.
Well, of course you're going to be wrong.
We're going to lose, and it's going to be all my fault every time. Every time. I can give every team you want in the NFL. I can give my prediction for who wins and loses. But I don't bet on the Titans. On the Titans scores. I do bet on props. I do bet on props because I think Derrick Henry is like a 1,400 plus 1,400 for 2 touchdowns. Putting a couple dollars down on that for fun. Chris Moore is 1,400 for 1 touchdown and a Titans win. Got to do that. I don't know. That's a Titans win. See, this is where it gets iffy because if I put money on the Titans, we lose. It's tried and true.
Well, then don't.
I'm not. And I can't,
right.
but I'll put it on the single leg parlays. I mean, on the props, and I got a couple parlays cooking.
Well, I don't have that problem.
I'm glad. I mean, don't.
if I predict that we win, it's not. We always lose. It's just sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm being a homer, and I'm like, no, I think we're gonna win. Sometimes I say we're gonna lose, and we end up winning.
I'll say this: if Tannehill throws for 250 plus. Derrick Henry rushes for 100 plus.
Yeah, we winning.
We win. If Tannehill struggles, throws a couple picks, the defense keeps us in it. But I don't think that we can hold up like we did last year for the first 11 games. The defense is amazing. The defense, I think we got a top 5 defense this year, but we need this offense to do well. At least middle of the road. 2021, number 15 ranked offense in the NFL. That's all we need. 15th. And this defense is going to carry us to some wins. And I think they can do that Sunday. What's your prediction, Max?
All right. So you guys know I'm not a homer. Or at least I try not to be. Although I am an optimist, and I can't help that. However, my actual score prediction was 28-12. But if like I said, I'm an optimist, and some people even say I'm a homer. But so I draw back a little bit. But my actual score prediction is going to be 24-14.
I was about to say, are we going 4 field goals with the 28-12 score? Or?
No, I hope not. No, that's them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are the Saints kicking?
Yeah, they don't score a touchdown, in my opinion.
Yep. I think Olave gets loose for one. I think Olave is going to get loose for one. It's going to be one where the pass rush doesn't get home, and he's going to get loose on our secondary, and he's going to get at least one. But I'm hoping that's I don't.
You know my hot take for the game?
Sure, yes, because I'm about to have a hot take for the whole season. It's going to be completely wrong, but go ahead.
Saints offense doesn't have 250 total yards.
I could see that. I don't think they go over 300 at maximum. I don't see. Yeah. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
I don't see a team scoring over 20 points on this defense all year if it's healthy. If it's healthy. That's a big if. A big if. Let's pray, knock on some wood, do whatever we have to do to keep that, burn some incense in the locker room, whatever. Or not sage, yes. Whatever we have to do to keep those injury demons away. But if healthy, I believe in this defense more than I've ever believed in a defense in Tennessee, and we've had some really good defenses over the years.
Yeah, it's
20
about
plus
to get
or
nasty.
20 and under every week. So you know what it means. We're gonna give up 21 or more every single game. It's because I just made this prediction, and now we're gonna give up 21 plus every game. So you guys are welcome. I'm sorry to everybody. This is what happens whenever I make a Titans prediction.
I even said I was going to remember the guy's name. I should have screenshotted it. Next time I'll screenshot it, dude. I'm sorry, whoever you are. But somebody made a comment on one of my posts on Twitter that said that I think our defense is going to be nasty, like, and then he put in quotation marks, nashy. Like, oh snap! I love that. I'm going to use that from now on. Our defense is nashy. It's going to just eat all day, I think, honestly. It's going to keep Carr on his toes. He's going to be throwing bad passes. I honestly don't think that they have very much offensive production at all. The run, I think they'll have less than 80 yards for the whole game. Again, you might call me an optimist, but I just look at our defense and I just see monsters.
All over the field.
Yeah, especially on the front seven. And we've been productive in stopping the run for 2 years now. We've been like the number one team in the rush defense, so or run defense. So I don't worry about that at all. But the pass defense has not been as great over the last few years. I think we were 26th or 27th in.
I think last year we were 28th, I believe.
Were we 28th?
I think so.
All right. Well, I'm in the area anyway. But 28th in defense, that's not good enough.
No.
And we need to be top 3 in rushing, top 5 in secondary defense. Period.
Yes.
That's where we have to be.
I agree. The thing about it is, and this is one of the biggest additions to me this offseason was Sean Murphy-Bunting. And I know we've talked about additions and we've talked about offseason moves over and over and over. It's time for football. So it's time to see it, right? All right. But the one thing that has really been overlooked to me, and no national media outlet's ever going to cover it, obviously. They don't cover the Titans like that. So
they don't care.
Sean Murphy-Bunting is a good outside corner. And good is good enough for me. Because as much as I would love to have a great outside corner, Christian Fulton can get the job done if he has somebody on the other side of the ball who can also get the job done. So Christian Fulton can't cover both Chris Olave and Michael Thomas. We're going to have one of the two. And you're also going to slide in Roger McCreary, who is really good as an interior cornerback. Inside. So you're sliding him inside. He struggles outside. He gets burned outside. Inside, Roger McCreary is a dog. So now we have guys in the right places, Sean Murphy-Bunting and Christian Fulton on the outside, and you're sliding a guy who struggled on the outside last year, but you're sliding him inside now. Roger McCreary is going to be able to show up and show out. Elijah Molden is going to be our nickel safety. We're going to run the nickel package on third down and long, to second and long some. So you're going to see Elijah Molden probably 30-40% of snaps in the game. He's pretty good at nickel safety. What I love about it is now we have gotten the guys in where we can play guys to their strengths. We don't have to play guys in places that they're bound to fail at because that's not what they do. We have a lot of specialty guys in this secondary, but they all now have the right position to where they can play that position and succeed. So I think we're going to see a major step forward in the pass defense, not only because our front seven, or really like front 10, if you count the backups, are just absolute monsters. The Broadway bullies. Shout out to DJ Tighten Up once again. Your secondary is much better just because of the addition of one man. Hooker and Byatt are a top 3 safety combo in the NFL if they stay healthy. Once again, this is all based on if they stay healthy. Let's just be honest. I mean, it's all if. Because if we don't stay healthy, we're going to see the same collapse as we did last year, or the most we're going to see is a 9-8, 10-7 season. Healthy, however, 12-5, 13-4 type season. Like I said, it all depends.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I got a lot of. I put up a post about the receivers. I'm sure a couple of you saw it. Asked who was going to get the most receiving yards. A lot of hate on Treylon Burks and his injury, and so I just want to put out there. First of all, I think they exaggerated his injury a little bit. Maybe for people to not. Maybe for people to sleep on us or whatever you want to call that aspect of it, mental game. I don't know. Titans and their injury news is weird at best. Sometimes they come right out and tell you what's going on. Sometimes they over-exaggerate. Sometimes they under-exaggerate. You never know what is going on with the Titans in an injury until you see the player. Just like we saw Treylon in practice, and he come right down on the leg, and it was like, oh, well, that doesn't look like it's sprained to me.
Yeah, he's all good.
Yeah, I've had a sprained LCL. I know what that feels like. That hurts like hell. You can't land on that. So for me, it's not, it's a little bit exaggerated. So I think the fact that, he tweaked his knee a little bit. Yes, he did. Did he, really injure him? Not really. No. And he's in way better shape than he was last year. Let's go ahead and put that out there.
Oh, big time.
Let's not forget that he stayed in Tennessee to acclimate himself to the weather. He's a lot bigger, a lot faster. He's not puffing on an inhaler in between plays. He's not grabbing an oxygen mask. He's fine.
He knows the playbook. The playbook. That's big. He's been working and trying to learn the plays. Last year, didn't really know him. And you can only do so much with raw athletic ability in the NFL. I think that's what people kind of fail to realize. Like, that's why you see a lot of guys with track star speed who never do anything in the NFL, or guys who are just like freaks of nature who are just should be physically dominating everybody. Well, I'm sure you've all heard the old saying, if you ever played sports, I'm sure you've heard it. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. And that should be an NFL motto. There should be a motto in every single locker room in America, actually, no matter what sport it is. But hard work is always going to beat talent when talent's not working. And that's the type of – that's Treylon. That's what worried me in year one. Is this guy a freak of nature talent who's not going to work? But over this offseason, we've seen he is willing to put the work in. And if Treylon Burks is willing to put the work in, and he's got a guy like D-Hop on this offense with him, he's going to be good. And I don't put any stock into missing training camp time with an LCL sprain. That's first of all, the play didn't even look bad. Like, it didn't look like he did anything that bad on the play. It just hyperextended it a little bit, and it tweaked it. And instead of having him come back and in training camp, he's been training the whole offseason in Tennessee. Like, they know he's been going hard. Why would you do that when you can just save him for the season? You don't
exactly.
There's no. I don't put any stock in that. If he was going to miss time, he's going on the IR for the first 4 weeks, so we have another receiver spot.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if he's going to miss more than 2 weeks, like they originally said he was going to, then right. Yeah, he would have went on IR just like Kyle Phillips did, so that we could have another slot, so we could have somebody else come in like Trayshawn Harrison did. So,
yeah. You know, it would be hilarious.
What's that?
if Chris Moore led the team in receiving yards, like we have these two great receivers, and then Chris Moore just comes in and gets 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns, that would be wonderful. I would love that so much, just to make everybody mad and just come out of nowhere like this superstar.
You know what my whole point of putting up the two wide receivers, Traylon Burks and D-Hop, and saying, which one do you think is going to have more receiving yards at the end of the season? It wasn't to see the response of the Titans fans. I mean, it was, I did want to gauge who people actually did believe in. But I also, I wanted to see how much faith people had in D-Hop and how much faith people had in Traylon Burks. But the point is there isn't a wrong answer.
Right.
And some people even come out and was like, man, I hate to say this, but I think Chig will actually be the number one receiver on the Titans. Or I think, Chris Moore will be and I thought at the time, you all could be right. There isn't a wrong answer. And to me, I really don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if Chris Moore breaks out and goes for 1,200 yards this season and D-Hop gets 8 and Traylon gets 6. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I don't really care who gets it as long as we get the production.
Yeah. And it would be wonderful. First of all, shout out to the boy, Kearis Jackson, not only for making the roster. This is my first show since I missed Monday since he made the roster. Shout out to Kearis Jackson for making the roster, and also the day one punt returner, and more than likely the kick returner as well. I know they said Tajay is going to get some opportunity to return kicks. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Do not use him for kick returns, please. But shout out to Kearis Jackson. How awesome would it be for him to get 800 receiving yards this year? It's not going to happen. He's probably not even going to see the field on offense unless, God forbid, some injuries happen. So, but just shout out to the boy, man. From day one, I wanted him to make the roster, and he's here, and he's a punt returner. That's all we can ask for.
And I would like to reiterate that I picked him before Teron Davenport come out with that depth chart, man. I had him as the leader for punt and kick return yards for the season.
Well, I remember when we were at the game and he went out there with the ones on kick return. I'm like, well, they're not going to put a guy out there with the ones on kick return if he's not going to be the kick returner. So,
well, if they don't at least think he can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, know, and the fact that, that he's out there means that the coaches trust him.
Yeah. If he does well, then I think you see Colton Dowell go down to the practice squad whenever Kyle Phillips gets back. But if Kearis doesn't do well with punt and kick return, then I think you see him go back down to the practice squad. As much as I love him, you're going to keep the guy who's doing the best on special teams as your wide receiver.
I was going to say, I think that it all comes down to special teams play. If Colton Dowell, all of a sudden just bursts onto the scene as a special teams player, which he didn't do bad in the preseason when I went back and watched some film. He didn't do bad as a gunner. Not great, but not bad either. He didn't do great as a returner. He didn't return any, but as on a return team. But anyway, my point is if you have that special teams ability, it's going to make it easier for you to stay on the roster. And I think that will determine who comes back, because that's why Kyle Phillips even is on our roster, to be honest, because if he was just solid receiver and didn't have any special teams talent, he wouldn't be still on the team, I don't believe.
Kyle is a good receiver. He just can't stay healthy. If he stays healthy, then I think you see a really solid wide receiver 3. And I think his ceiling is Hunter Renfrow. But you also have, I think it goes like this. His ceiling, Hunter Renfrow, his average is Drew Bennett, and his floor is out of the league. So you have those 3 different trajectories that Kyle Phillips could go on. And if he's going to be Hunter Renfrow, we know how it goes. He's going to go to a different team after his rookie contract, and then he's going to be Hunter Renfrow. He's probably going to be Drew Bennett for the Titans, but I hope he can turn into what his potential is while he's here, and we can re-sign him and keep him, because I'm a Kyle Phillips fan. I want him to do well. I just don't know about it.
I was a Kyle Phillips fan until this move. until they brought Kearis into the conversation. Now that Kearis Jackson is the punt returner, after watching the preseason and his punt return skills and looking at the numbers, I think he could be a more valuable player than Kyle Phillips. It's just my opinion. And I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, so there you go.
Yeah, and hey, I'm not a Bulldogs fan by any stretch of the imagination. I hope y'all lose every game you play on that cupcake schedule y'all play. Just cupcakes all the way through, man. I think y'all play a 7A high school team Saturday, right?
Don't hate because we eat biscuit and gravy.
Look, man, that's just you're not eating biscuits and gravy though. You're eating cupcakes every weekend. Every weekend, a whole dozen cupcakes.
It's not that easy, bro.
It is that easy. It is that easy.
We still play in the SEC.
You play in the SEC East. You play in that, and one of your games every year is Auburn, who is just not a good football program right now. And we're not talking about what they did 8 years ago in past, but Auburn's just in a bad spot, and like that's one of your games every year. And you got Tennessee and South Carolina who can't beat North Carolina, and
really
just.
UT's going to shock people this year. I hate to say that because I'm not a big UT. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? I'm kind of half in, half out, but I'm not a Vol fan by any means. But they are going to shock people with how good they are.
Can we talk about this Vols and Titans feud?
Oh my gosh!
Can we talk about this?
I mean, if you really want to, but I'm kind of annoyed with it. But yeah, sure, let's do it.
I'm highly annoyed with it, and I don't want to like come in and just be like, roll tide, like because I mean they beat us. I get it. Tennessee beat Alabama once in 17 years by a field goal at home, and it took everything you possibly had, and that was your national championship. I get it, Tennessee. I get it, Vols. I understand that. However, 17 years, the Titans starting running back is from Alabama. He's a top 3 running back ever in a Titans uniform. He's from Alabama. And Alabama players do much better in the NFL than Vols players do. Cry about it. It doesn't matter. Anyways, Vols fans
the whole argument is about. They say we don't pick enough Vol players.
Okay, the Titans have the second most Vols players taken ever in the NFL. Second most. I'm not sure who the first is. Albert Hainsworth was a Titans player. He was a Tennessee Vols player. Okay. What Vols fans were lining up at the door to just storm into the stadium to see Albert Hainsworth because he was a Vols player? It doesn't matter. If you like the NFL and you like the Titans, you like the Titans. If you don't like NFL football, you're not going to like the Titans. It doesn't matter how many times and if you just root for Vols players. Cool. That's great. Root for Vols players. There's one on the Titans roster now. I'm not sure who he is, but buy a ticket to see him if you love the Vols that much. But saying that the Titans don't pander to your college because they didn't pick Hooker, who's coming off a torn ACL, and picked Will Levis, who was
that's what they're really mad about, yeah.
Drastically better as a prospect at quarterback in the NFL. And I can't express that enough. Like, if you give me 10 picks, Hendon Hooker or Will Levis, I'm taking Will Levis every time. And that is as an impartial, non-Kentucky or Vols fan. Couldn't care less about either one of those programs, just as a prospect basis. Now, Jalen Hyatt, I would have loved to take Jalen Hyatt. Don't get me wrong.
I want Tillman.
I am upset that we don't have Hyatt. He is a dog. He torched Alabama. So I would love to see it if he was a Titan. But he's not. And it's not that they're not pandering to your college because they're not taking your play. They just let you play a game in their stadium. How are they not pandering to your college? I don't understand it.
Well, and honestly, I believe that to have been an olive branch of because there is this great divide. And I know, you don't live in Tennessee, but I live in East Tennessee. I've lived in West Tennessee. I've lived in Middle Tennessee. So, and there is this wild divide when you get into Middle Tennessee and you get out of East Tennessee. Nobody cares about UT. Nobody acts like they exist. They all root for Georgia. That's why I'm a Georgia fan, because I grew up in Middle Tennessee. I didn't even know about UT until I moved here, and I was like 22. You know, I mean, I'm not going to switch my fan or my team at 22. Come on, guys. Anyway, I still root for the Vols, though. I still want them to win and stuff, unless they're playing Georgia. But my point is that it's the same way in East Tennessee. Go to Gatlinburg, find a Titans hat. I dare you. You do, I'll pay you $20 plus what you paid for the Titans hat, because you're not going to find one.
I went and I found one store, and I think it was a Lids that had a Titans hat when I was in Gatlinburg. So,
all right, yeah, Lids is going to have one.
But it should be flooded.
Exactly. That's my point, man. When you walk into a sports shop, it should be like literally one wall or one half of the store, nothing but UT, one half of the store, nothing but Titans.
Yep.
Because those are your two huge teams in Tennessee. And people, Tennessee, this is my statement to you, Vol fans and Titan fans alike. You should not be separate. Do not divide, unite. United we stand, divided we fall, baby. Best college team in Tennessee is UT. Period. The only pro team in Tennessee is the Titans. I'm not saying you have to love the Titans if you love UT. All I'm saying is show a little respect. You know what I mean? You just played in our house. You know, and you want to talk about holding the record. By the way, you don't hold the record. It was a concert held by, I think, Ed Sheeran.
It was, so it's a record for an athletic event at Nissan Stadium. And would you like to know how many people they beat the Titans record by?
Yeah, it was
I was
only
actually
like
at the game where the Titans where we set the Titans record, and it was one number away from being the greatest attendance record of all time, and that's why I'll never forget it. They beat the record by a whopping 82 people. 82. And the reason I know that is because the former record was 69,419. One number away from being the single greatest attendance record for a stadium of all time. If it's 69,420, that is the most beautiful, nice of all time. That would be amazing. I wish that was the case, but here comes Tennessee to ruin it all. If the Titans let in standing room only tickets, we shatter that record. It's not because you just sold out the stadium and the Titans can't sell it out. They've sold it out plenty of times. The atmosphere has been amazing plenty of times. If you don't know, you just don't go to Titans games, and that's okay. Go to Tennessee games. Go to Vols games. It's okay. That's all right. We're not, but nobody is spitting in your face. It was
that's my point.
It was Mike Herndon on Football and Other F Words, another great podcast to listen to. He said that the rumor is that Josh Dobbs dropped the pass last year against the Jags from wiping all the spit off his face from the Titans at Vols fans. So I mean, like, that was beautiful to me. Like just the analogy there, but that's pretty much how it feels. I mean, Josh Dobbs was our quarterback last year when Tannehill goes down. He's a Tennessee Vol. I don't understand it.
Look, man, it's not how it feels. It's how it is. I live here.
Right.
I mean, I live here. I'm here to tell you, man. If you're not Big Orange, have you seen Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
You know the quote: "If you don't like Big Red."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you don't like Big Orange,
yeah,
same thing. And
you'll
that's
never
exactly
catch me dead.
That is exactly how they feel. Like they don't, and you know, I don't know. I think it's stupid. I honestly think it's stupid. It's annoying to me because I guess I'm a big hippie. I guess I'm all about love, man. I want to spread the love and all that crap. You know, I mean, besides football and martial arts, I'm actually a very chill, calm, relaxed, passive dude. So all this heat and all this hate and look at me, you know, boasting around because you had, like you said, 82 more people at our stadium than we did. Come on, man. I mean, what is Neyland Stadium's 127, I think.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like
All
double.
right, so if you failed Nissan Stadium, then yeah, why would you not think that you would fill Nissan Stadium to its capacity and
Right.
more?
Yeah.
That is a dumb ass, excuse me, that is a dumb thing to say. It really is. So it just not only it just permeates ignorance. Ignorance permeates ignorance. That's all I'm saying. And the Titans fans who are lashing back out at the Vols, stop. Just stop. Just let them be ignorant. It's cool. Don't stoop to their level. And Vols fans, stop. That's stupid. There's no bragging rights there. You have a stadium that holds almost twice as many people as our stadium.
Yes.
Why are you bragging about filling up our stadium?
Right.
Stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, could you imagine Bulldogs fans like filling up the Braves stadium for a football game and then they just start trashing the Braves? No, you're never
Exactly.
going to hear that because
Yeah.
everybody's a Braves fan. Like it's not. I mean, it's
Well, I
not.
mean, they didn't trash Bristol when they filled up Bristol with
Right.
Virginia. I mean,
Yeah,
they
no,
had
it
a
wasn't.
record break. But yeah, that's my point, man. My whole point is that they want to belittle us, just like the national media does, and that's fine. Y'all go ahead and keep sleeping on the Titans, and y'all go ahead and keep sleeping, because y'all gonna wake up real soon. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be a fun wake up call either. It's like one of those when you're in the military and they come throw ice water on you at like 3 o'clock in the morning to go running for like 3 miles. That kind of wake up call. It's gonna be a wake up call, and you ain't gonna like it.
I would like to throw out that anybody betting money on the first place Jags, especially the overall number 1 seed for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you are wasting money. The most overhyped team I have ever seen. Bias aside, I hate the Jaguars. I really do. Their fans get on my nerves. Every AFC South team's fans get on my nerves besides the Titans. So
this is the first time they've played a first round schedule in
since 2018, I guess. Yeah. And that was the first time ever, because that was this is their second division title ever. And they lucked around and won it off a horrible call and against backups. Yeah. And now they're just the world beaters and the best team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Did you know how the Titans are doing the top 10 moments or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the number 8 moment? Yeah, I posted that to the Jaguars fan battle and was like, remember this?
Yeah. What I would love nothing more than is to see Trevor Lawrence get sacked 10 times in a game, really twice. And even when they were talking about Jacksonville being one of the best teams in the NFL 5 years ago, the Titans swept them, and the Titans were not even that good yet. We swept the Jags whenever they were supposed to be good, 2-0. Now, I get it. They beat us last year 2-0. I understand. But when you look at circumstances, they matter. Circumstances matter. Just because players have the jersey on doesn't mean they're the same capable players. And all the Jags fans saying, oh, well, all y'all want to talk about is injuries. If Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley get hurt, all you're going to do is cry. All you're going to do is cry all season long about how they got hurt and your Super Bowl run was ruined because they got hurt. We had the most injuries in the NFL for the last 2 years. We have a reason to say injuries. It's not because we just because we want an excuse because one guy got hurt. Yeah. This isn't college football. This is the NFL where the top tier players are all gone, including our quarterback, and we're bringing in a guy off the streets of all to come in and try to win a game, and he almost did it. You still almost lost.
Yeah, at the NFL level, you expect your second string players to play at times.
Right.
You don't expect third string or fourth string or people you had to pick up off the freaking street 2 weeks before to get to start your games.
And the reason I say it's not college football is because you don't have a 5-star recruit waiting in the background to come in and for his time to shine. If he's not a starter in the NFL, there's a reason for it. Like, you don't get these guys off the streets, these practice squad guys. They're not starters because they're not very good. It's not because they're just waiting for their moment to shine. They're not good. They might play.
This ain't the replacements, and Keanu Reeves going to come running
exactly.
in.
We had Keanu Reeves. We might have been good last year.
Joe Falco.
Yeah, in general though, man, I'm really excited about this season, and I hope the Jags suck. I hope the Texans suck, and I hope the Colts suck. If that's the case, I don't really mind if the Titans suck. As long as those three teams aren't good either, we're all right. But I think the Titans are in for a good year, man. I think it's going to be a lower division in the NFL, one of the worst in the NFL if you count the Colts and Texans. So it's Jags and Titans all year. We got somebody to hate and we got somebody to love. So we're balanced. We're ready, baby. It's almost that time.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to be honest. I want to stop the show so I can go watch some football. It's bad to say, but it's honesty, people. I love you, but I want to go watch some football. And
yes,
I'm really tired anyway, but so I think good show. Easily, I think the Saints are going to win. Or what?
Hey, that's what I'm supposed to say.
Titans are going to win.
You're supposed to say the Titans
24-14 is my final prediction. Yes. Derrick Henry, I think, is going to have a chip on his shoulder all year. I think he starts it off with a baller game against the Saints. There we go.
And if you're new to the show and you understand why I'm about to say, or you don't understand why I'm about to say this, then it is because every time I have a hot take or a prediction about the Titans, I am wrong. So I will say the Saints win, not giving a score, but I'm going to say the Saints win so they don't. All right.
All right, man. So great show. As always, you guys can find us. We are trying to grow our YouTube page. So please, if you're, out there, hit up our YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, whatever. Tell your friends, tell your mama. But if you want to follow us other places, we're also Titan Fan Battle Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. You can also find me, Maximus_Titan_fan on Facebook, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and that's it. And then Tyler, let them know where they can find you at as well.
At Titan_always22. You might see me on Twitter sometimes. You might see my takes. I'm going to have some bad ones this season because I'm going to overreact to things. That's what we do. We're Titans Nation, baby. So check me out, Ryan Stonehouse Stan account, the one and only. Check out our blog. Go to fanbattlesports.com. Go to Titans blog, Titans podcast. And like Max said, go smash the subscribe and like button on YouTube. We need that. That is the way you can show us support. If you're not following us on anything, go subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, podcast, whatever it is, anywhere you get your podcast. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell everybody about us. We don't cuss on here, so your mama can listen to us. That's the best part about it. My mama's out there watching us right now. Shout out to you. I love you, mama. Thank you for watching. Thank everyone for watching. We love you guys so much. Be nice. Be nice to each other, Vols fans and Titans fans. It's a beautiful world. Let's go watch some football, Max.
Yeah, let's go watch football.